All right, so here I'm going to go over the example questions so that we can talk about how we go about knowing whether they form a triangle. So we have the apply it. Leon and his dad build model boats. They have 3 leftover pieces that are 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches long. Can they use these 3 pieces to form a unique triangle, more than one triangle, or no triangle at all? So we know that by side lengths, we can't have more than one triangle. If they connect, if I have 3 side lengths and they connect, it's one triangle. So more than one triangle is out of the picture. But it is a question, do they create a unique triangle or no triangle? And so the way to remember, or the way we do this, remember in the last video, we talked about at the very end that my 2 smaller side lengths have to add to be bigger than my 3rd side length. So I really just need to take 2 plus 3, that equals 5, and make sure that 5, compare it to my 3rd side and hope that it is bigger. And it is. So since 2 plus 3 is greater than 4, we can create one unique triangle. I'm going to start work right there. That's it. If it would have been less than 4, we would say no triangles. All right, so now let's look at 8. A triangle has side lengths 5 and 11. The length of the 3rd side is an integer. What is the least possible length of the 3rd side? What is the greatest possible? So remember, when we were creating at the very beginning, we would do the small plus the medium has to be greater than the large. And then maybe the small plus the large has to be greater than the medium. And then finally the medium plus the large has to be greater than the small. So when we go through here though, we really need to worry about when is my side, like what is the smallest my side could be and it be the smallest side. And what is the largest it could be? So I can do all of that just by creating this equation right here, right? So my unknown would be my small. So when I have x plus my middle length then would be 5, right? If I don't know my small, then the 5 is my middle, and I need to make sure that it is greater than 11. The other possibility is what happens. What does my side length need to be if it's in the large place? So what is the largest it could be? Which would mean that these are my small and mediums. So I would have 5 plus 11 has to be greater than whatever my, we'll call it a different variable right now, my largest side would be. So over here, to get the smallest it can be, I'm going to subtract 5. So that means x has to be greater than 6. Because if it is 6, then it's going to equal 11. 6 plus 5 would be 11. So what is the least possible length? The least possible length would be 7. And 7. Because it can't be 6. 6 would make this equal 11. And so then the next possible one is 7. That is the least possible. Now, when we come over here and we're finding what is the biggest it can be, 5 plus 11 is, oh my goodness, I just blanked out, 16. So if I rearrange this, that means that y has to be less than 16. So the largest it could be, the greatest possible length would be 1 below 16, which would be 15. Because if I choose 16, then 5 plus 11 is 16. If I go above 16, then my 2 middle or my 2 smaller sides will not be greater than my largest side. Therefore, the greatest length for this possible triangle with two side lengths already known as 5 and 11, greatest possible length is 15. The smallest possible length is 7. So anything between 7 and 15 will work. All right, and then last, consider the four lengths, 2, 5, 6, and 8. Which combinations of these lengths can form a triangle? Explain and support your explanation with drawings. Now, I am not going to draw. I will leave that to you. But when we consider these, which combinations of 3 of these lengths can form a triangle? I'm going to break them into groups of 3. I could have 2, 5, and 6. I'm going to have my work there for that. I could have 2, 5, and 8. So there's where that work's going to go. I could have 2, 6, and 8. I could have 5, 6, and 8. And those are all the different possible combinations that we can create. So from here, remember, the easiest is I just need to take the two smallest and make sure it's greater than the largest. So it's 2 plus 7, what is it to 6? So 2 plus 7. Ooh, Mrs. Carr's already doing her math in her head and saying it out loud. 2 plus 5, is it greater than 6? 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 is greater than 6. So 2, 5, 6 forms a triangle. So the question is, does 2 plus 5, what is it to 8? Well, 2 and 5 again is 7, but 7 is less than 8. So this will not form a triangle. And here we have 2 plus 6. How is it compared to 8? Well, it is 8. So we'd have 8 is equal to 8, not going to form a triangle. And then 5 plus 6, how does it compare to 8? 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 is greater than 8. So then we can say 5 plus 6 is greater than 8. And so this one does. So 2 of the 4 possible pairing or combinations create and form a triangle. You should be able to explain. So explain why. And, we've got the math to show it. And then support your explanation with drawings. So at that point, it's wanting you to draw a 2, 5, 6, and a 5, 6, 8, and a 2, 5, 8, and show that they don't connect, and a 2, 6, 8, and show that they're truly just one line. So that's what you're doing there. Your practice is a lot of just, can you do the math to say that they are or are not a triangle? So more like this and these down here. So if you have any questions, please reach out. I hope this is helpful. See you in class.